Let's do it again. Alright, I'm going to talk about one of my favorite builds in Path of Exile 2 for Dawn of the Hunt, and that is the Gemling Legionnaire Flicker Strike. Now, if you don't know what Flicker Strike can do this league, I suggest you check out Mage Fist. He has kind of funny videos, and he demonstrates Flicker Strike very well. And he pointed out in the vid, and I was convinced, that Gemling really is the S tier class for Flicker Strike, more than Invoker or Amazon. And yeah, I had to try it, and I think it is by far, it may not be the best clear, because you can run Lightning Spear like as a main skill, but there are probably other ascendancies that are better for that. But where Gemling really excels is Flicker Strike, and the reason for that is, he pointed it out, this node is good, but he got it wrong in the video. This does not give as much as POB2 might tell you. POB2 is assuming that every gem you have socketed, like all your gems, all of them are contributing to like the bonuses for each skill. It's not like that. For instance, for Flicker Strike, you only count the gems for Flicker Strike as the added bonuses for it, not every gem you have socketed. And I guess the confusion is there because this node, I think that has to be counting everything that you have socketed, right? That's why there's strict restrictions. I mean, it'd be totally busted otherwise. You'd be having like 300-400% increased critical strike chance. That just can't be the case. But the real MVP node here is these nodes: 10 quality, 2 quality, 2 quality, and another 2 quality if you wanted it. But you'd be sacrificing this one, which is a nice 20% more bonus. And why is quality so good for a Flicker Strike build? It's because, unlike other skills that do benefit from quality but not as much, Flicker Strike has this strange property here where when you add quality to it, it says chance to not remove charges on use. And I was like, what does that really mean, right? And if you see those crazy chains, Flicker Strike, where it goes all the way across the screen and never stops, and it looks like he could be flickering many times, like he's pressing, but he's only pressing it once. The reason for this is because you look at this on here, the tooltip, the chance to not remove charges is at 76%. That means what I think the game is doing is, okay, you have 7 power charges, right? So you're going to get like, I think 15 attacks. If my math is not wrong, it's 2 additional attacks per charge. So if you have 7, it's 14 plus 1, 15, right? So you're guaranteed 15 attacks, and at the end of the 15 attacks, it's going to do this check. Are we going to remove those charges or not? And if no, it'll just go on for another 15 attacks. I think that's what it's doing. Because I have seen some crazy long, like, chains where it just keeps going forever. And I can't tell you what the average really is. I mathed it out, and in the case where I think it's the way it is, a number like this, 76% chance to not remove charges and 7 power charges, every Flicker Strike is doing like 55 attacks on average for 1 button press, which is insane. So this will like sometimes chain forever, and it's hilarious to watch. The only thing is, this can take you into bad territory. As Flicker enjoyers may know, you press it and then you like zooming around the map, and then you're like surrounded by enemies and you're out of charges, and you gotta get out of it. So it can be good and bad. I'll show you a little trick I learned how to avoid this from happening, but generally speaking, it can be dangerous sometimes. Okay, now my little spin on this that I think is really cool and makes this a lot more fun to play is, instead of using that traditional setup with Profane Ritual and I think you use minions and Profane Ritual to get power charges, I opted to go for this. I don't know, is it being used? Voll's Protector, it's got lousy defensive stats, but it has one line that's like, wow, like 25% chance to gain a power charge on critical hit. If only frenzy charges came that easily too. Because as I'm going to show you, with certain skills with the spear, this is like instant 7 power charges if you're hitting something. You know, if you're crit capped, what you're going to need is a skill that crits a lot, like in a short time. And there are 2 standout skills that I found on the spear that meet this criteria. Number 1 is spearfield. I mean, this is a great skill. I mean, if you ever use it, it's pretty good. It does pretty good damage. The numbers look low, but you're throwing out 30 spears at once, and it hits a lot. You have to knock them back though to make the most use of it, but it hits a lot. And you'll see, like, you know, a pack of mobs in front of you. You throw 1 spearfield, boom, you're at like 6-7 charges. The other one, which I thought I discovered later, was Stormlance. This one, just, you know, you just stick it to the ground, and it keeps chaining off like enemies. And yeah, this one will throw you to 7 power charges very quick, or 8, 9, whatever your limit is. It'll get you to max really quick. So what you've got here are 2 power charge builder skills, which do good damage on their own. And what we're going to do is use Dance with Death on the passive tree. Here, Dance with Death to get 25% more skill speed. This is huge. I tried it with like a defensive shield or buckler and without it, and it just feels so much better having this. And you don't really miss a defense. You don't need it. And you, like, look how fast these go out. It's pretty fast. These will all charge, like, all that stuff will charge you to 7 power charges really quick if you're hitting something. So that's my take on it, and you just use a weapon swap. So you get a Tangle Tongue, really popular weapon. You get a good crit hit chance on it. And Gemling has the great benefit of having, you know, they can use supports twice. Very underrated. This is very strong because it means you can use gems like Inevitable Critical, or like here I'm using it twice here, Pinpoint Critical, especially for the ones that you don't need damage for. Pinpoint is really good. You don't care about the less damage bonus, but you want more crit because the crit is going to help you build your power charges quick. Gemling only can use these twice, and when you're using a variety of skills, Flicker, Spearfield, Stormlance, having to use, you know, being able to use them twice is great. Like, it's, I don't know how you'd figure this out on other classes. On Amazon it might not be an issue because you get so much crit from the Ascendancy, but I like it. I mean, it feels good to socket in 2 of the same copies and make use of it. And for damage scaling, I really think you can't do better than Deepest Tower. This one is so good. If you go through the campaign and then, like, exactly at level 45 switch to a Deepest Tower setup, you feel the damage difference immediately. It is immense. It's like, I don't know, POB maths it out to about like 4 to 5 times damage. That's how amazing it is. If you don't know what this weapon is, it was a mystery to me too why this is so good. It's just that one line here: enemies in your presence count as being as low life. Why is this good? Because, and there's videos on this, there are nodes on the tree that give you massive damage bonuses for enemies that are on low life. So usually that would only work if they're below like 30 something % HP. Now it works all the time. Only catch is they have to be in your presence, and your presence is reduced. I think default is 4 meters. This is going to 2 meters, but it doesn't matter if you're playing a melee build, and Flicker Strike is a melee build, so you can just ignore this. I mean, I did put some presence area of effect jewels. I don't even think it makes a difference. When you're hitting with Flicker Strike, you're within 2 meters. Of course, there's this cluster here that gives you a massive bonus. It's got 60% increased damage. I mean, increased damage is good. More damage is, of course, good too. But don't neglect increased damage, especially when the numbers are this high. You have lucky damage too, although the recommended way I'm going to tell you is don't use lightning, use physical, and I'll tell you why later. But that's, you know, there's still a range on physical damage. This is going to give you some amount of a bonus. The big one here though is finality. 120% increased damage. Like, that's pretty insane. Like, you know, I don't think many builds go past 600% increased damage. Like, this is like that would make this like what, divided by this, it would be like it's a lot. It's a lot more damage. I mean, and the thing is, you can't anoint it, right? I'm holding Alt here. Like, other nodes you can, but this one you can't. And someone thought this was a bug. It's not a bug, because other nodes are like that too. Blur has no anoint. I think it's because they don't want other classes to pick up movement speed so easily. When you can't anoint it, you know it's special. You know it's good, because, you know, they're making it hard to get. However, you can go with the from nothing unwavering stance and grab all of these. Okay, no matter where you're on a tree. I'm not that far, but I didn't want to path there, so yeah. If you pick up, it was 2 divines when I picked it up. Unwavering stance from nothing, and you get Warcry speed. And if I had more points, I would put some points into here too. You know, Warcry speed is important. Empower attack. These are all good nodes for this build. So I think a from nothing and wavering stance is the best jewel you can get. I don't think it'll ever be that expensive. I haven't checked since then. And this is going to be a majority of your big damage. Without the deepest tower, I think the damage would be still really good, but not like this good. And I'll show you how good the damage is later on single target. It can be insane. Other than that, I'm actually taking weapon swap nodes, which I thought were like kind of a meme at the beginning, but no, they're useful, because you'll be swapping weapons all the time, back and forth between spear and staff. And so like a 50% increased speed in that is you're getting attack speed, essentially. So, anyway, I'll link the I'll have a link to the planner later. You can look at it in more detail. There's a lot of, I've used up all of my weapon set points. All right, every build maker will tell you, yeah, no one wants to use this stuff, but it's pretty strong once you get to learn it, because you get to take advantage of different weapon sets, different weapons, I should say, and you know, there's certain interactions between them that make your build even stronger if you were so inclined to build it that way. You know, spend the time doing it. And I think it's not worth it earlier when you're like going through the campaign, but when you get to the end game, you want to min-max everything. This is definitely a huge source of player like your character powers from the weapon set points, especially with a build like this. And I think right now I have 7 power charges in total. 1 coming from the helmet, corrupt, 1 from an anoint on Serpent's Egg, which I highly recommend because you get double the charge generation. You still need fast generation of power charges is what makes this build feel really good. If it's too slow, if you're waiting for your power charges, it just doesn't work. So I think this is a really good amulet. Maybe you can have an alternative, but I never took it off after I tried it. So yeah, so here's 1 too, and yeah, you get 2 more from this node. Anyways, it cuts it to 7. And you can get more. There's 1 more, I think, on a tree. But I just didn't bother. So for the little showcase, I will try, let's see. I don't want the map to take too long. And I want to do it, like, you know, without editing or cuts, because I think that's the best way to show a map. Crypt, yeah. Crypt because it's short. And I'm just going to run it, like, you know, without any mods, because I don't want pleasant surprises. So, I played this build for like hundreds of hours and I'm still having fun playing it. It's the most fun build. I tried, of course, the Amazon Lightning Spear, but the problem with Lightning Spear was that what are your options for single target? You have either Primal Strikes, which is kind of fun, but the condition that the enemy has to be shocked, I didn't like it, and I died a lot using Primal Strikes. I mean, you know. And the other one is Wind Serpent's Fury, which I just can't stand. Like, you know, you miss that attack. I miss it a lot, like, you know. And when you miss and you have to charge up your frenzy charges again, it's just a horrible feeling. So, in the map, the basic thing is you find your pack of mobs, wherever they might be, This way. And here they come. Throw in a couple of instant 7 charges. See that? I charge up my spear. Throw another one. They only 2. Throw this. Stormlance. 7. And then there you go. Flicker. Done. They're all dead. All right. Shrine. And then next pack. You can do like this. And you don't wait for your charges. You just 4 is enough. You can do this. It won't clear as fast as Lightning Spear, but it's more fun. I guarantee you, it's more fun. Okay. And like you feel like you're actually fighting. You know what I'm saying? Because there's a bit of a risk. You're getting close to your enemies. Where you land after the flicker, you never know when it's gonna stop. You have to react. So it's kind of fun actually, because there's a bit of RNG to it. It's a bit of an art to like, okay, when do you charge up your charges? When do you... Some people don't like that. They want the 1-button playstyle. This is not a 1-button playstyle at all. This is a 3-button, maybe even 4, because you need Infernal Cry. You don't need it, but it'd be a waste not to use it for bosses. Anyway, so when you map, this is what you do. You just, you know, you get some charges, you hit flicker, and things die. And on a map like Steppe, which usually you'll see demoed for Flicker Strike, and you have a huge pack size, you will fly across the map. Like I have seen like a chain of like 50 to 100 attacks before it stopped. And if you're like in your level 70 to 80, you might see this experience per hour go to 1 billion. Like it happened to me. It can happen. Now when you go to a boss, the rotation is very simple. They always got RP, 2 spear fields. I did 3 there by accident. 2 storm lances, 7 charges, Infernal Cry, and boss is dead. See the damage there? It was pretty fast. He had 4 million. I think I caught a glimpse of it, probably a second. I don't know. To really get a feel for the damage, you can't run these boss maps. You have to run pinnacles at higher tiers, but those are dangerous. You can get killed if you don't know what you're doing. Or you can just join a group, and the scaling will jack up their HP to like 20-30 mil. This build will kill a 30 million boss in 1 command. I've seen it happen. It doesn't always do it, because you're at the mercy of the RNG of the charges not being removed. But it can happen. I've seen it happen, and it's really fun. And I have played in random groups with a lot of different classes, and I don't think anything competes in terms of single target damage. This is the king of Dawn of the Hunt, no doubt about it. I have not seen, like, even the blood mages that pop like those huge bleeds. This is faster for sure. Their build might be safer because they go in and out, and it's like this one you can get killed when you're building your charges. It's a lot better if you go into the boss fight with your charge staff up. But if you know what you're doing, you know, if you know the boss, you know what the dangerous stuff he does that one-shots you, and you can dodge it, you know, actually play the game, you know. You have to pause for the frame rate. My computer's really old, and it's about you know, cripples my PC. But yeah, I'm just looking for the boss, because like as fun as a map where like you can see the long strings there, like, and it stopped because there's no other targets to go through, like, you know. So with more pack size, you would see it chain a lot longer. Let's go for the boss. Like, playing this build, even though it's multi-buttons, because it's just the same cycle again and again, it is not hard to play. You just have to set up, like, for me, I use mouse up for spearfield, left mouse for doing the stormlance. And look, you will get your power charges like really quick, like that 7, in the flow of battle. You don't have to like. Spearfield has a really nice thing where it's like it pushes enemies away. It's kind of what you want. Ooh, almost died there. You kind of want that, and yeah. These shrines, man, I'm telling you, I'm never happy when I see them. And for defense, like, you know, you need evasion for defense and cap resists. If you don't have like above 60 evasion, when you get to the red maps, it's going to be painful. I've experienced so many times, like, how come I'm dying so much? And it's not because you don't have enough ES or whatever. Well, if you had like 10k ES, that would be a solution, but just put yourself over 60% evasion, and you just stop dying to attacks. If you stand there too long, you'll still die, but you won't die. Like, on a boss of Savannah, you can use these hyenas to charge up your you can walk into the boss with 7 power charges like that, and you get to the boss, just war cry, and then get bugged out there. That was interesting. You see that? I almost got killed there. Here we go. There we go. The boss is dead, right? That's 7 power. Wait till they all come in. Watch. Just wait, and bigger strike. Isn't that glorious? I mean, it's fun. Anyway, I would show you what the damage is like on a bigger HP pool, but I don't have that content ready. I have to get into a party. But believe me when I say the damage is around 5 to 6 million DPS, and it's not just the DPS that matters though. It's that it keeps going on after one command. You'll keep hitting the boss continuously. So the damage profile is a bit different because unlike skills like Primal Strikes, what I guess what I want to say is Flicker Strike, if it doesn't stop, has a perfect DPS uptime. I almost want you to show you like the that boss that goes in a circle, the Azak Bog boss. I think she's the boss of Sump. See, when she goes around a circle, a lot of builds can't do anything to her because she's moving too quick. But Flicker will actually track that boss as she goes into a circle, and it's hilarious. You'll be like pounding her up, like, you know, I don't know, like 10 times a second while following her around in a circle. It is glorious. So what Flicker has that is so good, in my opinion, compared to like Primal Strikes or Wind Serpent's Fury, is that once you have it, the power charges, and you launch it, you're done. You don't have to even aim it. You just point the mouse in the general direction of the boss. If there is something to target, Flicker will find it for you. It's almost like an AI-assisted attack, if that makes any sense. Whereas Wind Serpent's Fury, you know, you can miss that. You can miss it. I've missed it. And Primal Strikes, you can mistime it. You do another one before the enemy is reshocked, and you don't do any damage. It feels bad. And when I play in groups, sometimes my PC can't keep up. It goes to like literally 5 FPS. Flicker is one of the few skills I can play that still works, because you just swing your mouse around randomly and it will find the boss for you when you can't see anything that's going on. So yeah, I highly recommend you can give it a try. Is it expensive or not? I think the quarterstaff is the most expensive one. It is the damage of the build. It comes from this weapon, along with the deepest tower, but that's about 2 divine. Not even 2 divine, maybe 1 divine. I don't know what the cost is anymore. But this one I paid 2 divines for earlier in the league. I think something similar now would be like a lot more. You just want crit, I think about 4 to 5 would be good. Level to melee skills. This is actually a low roll, T1 only, but okay. And then, you know, you want this number to be really high, and that will come from the prefixes here, which aren't even that great. It's T6, T3. Like, this is not a very high rolled quarterstaff. I've seen weapons that have like, it goes up to 600 here. So the damage you saw there could be doubled if I had a better weapon, and that's just scary to think about. Tangle Tongue's not that pricey anymore, I think, right? You want it for the double crit. I think it benefits the charge generation because you're feeding off that crit to gain power charges. And the one other thing, before I forget, one of the secret sauces to having big damage with Flicker Strike is Infernal Cry. Now this makes Gemling even more insane, because I never even considered or thought about Infernal Cry from the first since I started playing. It was Stormweaver that got popular, and then the Temporalis. So I don't know, like no one was really playing melee builds, right? That much, but Infernal Cry. Just read this line right here. Empowered attacks gain 25% of damage as fire damage per 5 power of enemies. Okay, so it's one of those skills that kind of like gets stronger if you use it when a unique monster is around, and not so strong when it's just white mobs. But that's great because you don't need the power for it to kill white mobs. Die so quickly. You do need the power a lot with uniques. Like, unique bosses are hard to kill sometimes. They got a lot of HP. And you run randos, what you see is everyone's got clear. But big single target damage is kind of rare. Infernal Cry, I think it only works with does it work with all attacks, not just melee? I'm actually kind of surprised. That works with projectiles too then, huh? But anyways, it usually, the clunkiness is that it only empowers one attack, usually. There's a node that makes 2, but you only need 1, and the great part about Flicker is that even though it's a bunch of attacks one after the other, Infernal Cry applies to all of its damage, and that is crazy, because while it gives you normally 100%, damage as extra fire damage, with Gemling, and maybe a few talismans that are kind of expensive, it doubles to 200. I mean, it says 200 here. The extra 100 is coming from the quality. So Gemling has like 14 extra quality. So that's huge already. So I haven't done the math exactly on this one. Per 5 is 5 power. Unique. So I think uniques have 20. Yeah, uniques always have 20. Right, okay. So 20 divided by 4. So that's 4 times 45%, right? Which is 180. You're getting 180% of damage as extra fire damage. That's crazy. So I always make sure I do Infernal Cry, and then I do Flicker Strike on bosses. You don't need it for rares or lights. And Gemling makes this really crazy. And the gem setup, nothing special. It's just whatever. So yeah, that's the build. If I could show you how it does in a group or like a bigger boss HP pool, it would be nice. But you try making it and try it on you'll find like the single target damage is definitely not lacking. What you might be missing will be the clear from Lightning Spear or such skills, or like Lightning Arrow or whatever, the popular clear skills. But if everyone in the party is clearing like crazy, then you should bring the single target damage. I mean, that's how you bring value. Anyway, that's the build. I don't think there's much else to say about it, other than it's really fun because it's unpredictable. Flicker. It does a lot of damage, but it's unpredictable, and that's fun. Yeah, so that's about it. And oh yeah, right. Exclusive to this patch or this league, the Fox Talisman. They're like almost a divine. For just 2% the quality of all skills that only go in your body armor. I have 2 of them. I think I'll stop there. It's expensive. But the reason why you want this is because it boosts damage on this build. I mean, it may not boost damage on other builds, but it does for this build. It makes Flicker Strike continue for longer. It boosts the damage boost from Infernal Cry. And because I like to use Stormlance, if you can hit 40% quality on Stormlance, which is not easy, you can get 2 extra large spears. It goes from 2 to 5. So you can have 5 spears out. Normally it's only 3. See, I have Scatter Shot on, so it should be 3, right? Yeah. There you go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. See, I can have 5 spears out. Which means more crits, which means easier max power charges. And that's why. I think I will stop at that point. Another divine, I could, but the build's really fun, and I have a hard time thinking about any ways of making it any better. And yeah, you can check out the planner if you want. And it doesn't have to be Gemling. I think Flicker is really strong this patch. just because the single target is insane. It is insane. I tried Primal, I've tried Wind Serpent. Is there another one that's really good? I never got to try the Bleed one, but I don't know. Like, I don't like watching the HP bar to know exactly when, you know. These are all they all put a cognitive load on, you know, you can't watch the fighters closely. This one you just spam 1, 2, 3, and then hopefully that goes to 7. It usually does. Inferno Cry, Flicker, and let the AI kill the boss. That's it. Alright. Thanks for watching.